Your friends approach Spock. Do you remember them?
There is McCoy and Savick. And a third, Jim. His name is Jim.
Correct, Spock.
New Frontiers, Chapter 1. Promises to keep.
How do you feel?
I am well.
Glad to hear it, Spock.
You may commune with Spock for a short while, but no longer.
Thank you, Talar.
His body seems as before, Talar. But what of his soul?
It is too early to tell if the Fal-Tor-Pan was successful, Savick. As you see, the Genesis process restored his vessel. But his thought patterns are still unpatterned, illogical. Restoring Spock to his previous self will take time. But it is within the realm of possibility.
You look good, Spock, but I'm taking a medical reading anyway.
That is unnecessary, Doctor. My father's physicians monitor my progress.
Maybe so, but it never hurts to have a second opinion.
That is logical, and you do seem to be an excellent physician.
You obviously haven't regained all your memories yet, or you wouldn't say that, at least not in my hearing.
Perhaps not, Doctor. I have so much to remember.
You can do it, Spock.
You bet.
Indeed.
Spock, we have to leave, but we'll be back.
You came back for me once, Jim. I have no doubt you will do so again.
Take care, Spock. Get well. Doctor's orders.
Must you leave, Admiral? You are welcome here as long as you wish to stay.
I wish we could, Ambassador Sarek, but our time is no longer entirely our own. And speaking of time, have you heard anything concerning us from Starfleet?
Nothing. Starfleet is apparently keeping silent on the entire Genesis matter. However, I have had your ship refueled.
Ambassador, please, you've done so much.
No. Admiral, you have. You saved our son. Anything we can do, anything we have, is yours.
My wife speaks with undue emotion, Admiral, but the underlying meaning of her words is not incorrect.
Thank you.
Reporting as you requested, Admiral.
My friends, I have a task to perform. Your company would be appreciated, but is not ordered.
We started this thing together, sir. We'd like to end it the same way.
Appreciated, Mr. Sulu. Mr. Savick, you may activate the transporter beam.
Activated, sir.
Farewell, Sarek. Again, all my thanks.
Return soon, Admiral. Live long and prosper.
We've arrived, gentlemen. Let's get this show on the road. Stations, everyone.
Lieutenant, I'll be needing your help with these blasted Klingon warp engines.
Acknowledged, Mr. Scott.
Here's where we find out what you're all made of. Anyone can land a ship. The real test of a Starship crew is taking off in one piece.
In one? Jim, this is not the Kobayashi Maru. You can't change the rules this time.
I'm certain we won't need to, Doctor. But I suggest you have your medical equipment handy, just in case.
Oh.
Mr. Sulu, Mr. Chekhov.
We are ready, Admiral.
Uhura?
Ready, sir. I've prepared an identification beam that labels us as friendly.
Let's hope you're convincing enough. Kirk to engineering. Are you managing to find your way around, Mr. Scott?
The antimatter inducers are right where I left, Admiral. Ready when you are, sir.
Take us up, Mr. Sulu. Activate retro thrusters.
Aye, sir. Retro thrusters. We're away, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Sulu. I never had the slightest doubt.
Heading, sir?
Space Station Regula I. Best possible speed.
You sent for me, Admiral Turner.
Yes, Captain. I think I have something here that will interest you. Computer, run holotape.
Working.
And though Starfleet has released no information at this time, it seems that an attempt by a Klingon warship to violate Federation space and steal the secret of Project Genesis, developed by Dr. Carol Marcus of Regula I Science Station, has been thwarted by the Genesis commander, Admiral James T. Kirk, the highly decorated, highly controversial starship.
Computer off. Captain Stiles, do you remember Admiral Kirk?
Yes, sir.
Then you are hereby ordered to take the USS Excelsior and retrieve both Admiral Kirk and the Klingon Bird of Prey he has captured.
Yes, sir.
Computer, run tape again.
Carol, this is Jim. I wish I could be there to tell you this in person, but I didn't want you to hear it from a stranger. Carol, it's about David.
Approaching Regula I, Admiral. They're waiting to receive you in the transporter room.
Acknowledged, Uhura.
Jim, are you okay?
I've never been okay, Bones. Not where Carol is concerned.
Would you like me to beam over with you?
Please.
Energize.
Hello, Jim. Dr. McCoy.
Carol, I'm so sorry.
You won after all, didn't you?
I took David away from you, so he wouldn't be like you. And what happens? He's dead. My son is dead.
Carol, he was a hero.
Dr. Marcus, please.
A hero? Like his father? He always was a lot like you, Jim. But you always came back. David didn't. I wish he had come back, and you hadn't.
Jim, it wasn't your fault. She'll realize that.
What if it was, Bones? David said he was wrong about me. Told me he was proud to be my son. And that pride may have killed him. Carol wishes I'd died in David's place. And God knows, I wish I had, too.
Love, strange love, a star woman teaches.
Very nice, Sulu. It's been a long time since I've heard your voice raised in song.
It's been a long time since there's been anything to sing about, Uhura, but...
And you think there is now?
What do you mean, Chekhov? Mr. Spock is safe,
and our careers are over. Don't you realize that? At the time, it all seems like a very great adventure. Stealing the Enterprise to help Mr. Spock. Disobeying direct orders from Starfleet. But now that it's over, only now am I beginning to realize what we've done.
Now wait a minute, Pavel. Don't you think the same thing's been on my mind? Before we began that little training cruise, I was in line for my own command. Do you think I'll ever get it now?
And me, Chekhov, I've got more years in Starfleet than either of you. I know what we've done, but I'm not the least bit sorry.
Nor am I, Uhura. Mr. Spock needed our help, and we gave it. But now we must live with the consequences, and I don't think they'll be very pleasant.
And that places you in check, Engineer Scott. It is your move.
Aye, Lieutenant. And that, I believe, is a stalemate. Not the win I'd hoped for. But any old port in a storm, eh?
Indeed. This is most unexpected.
If I may say so, Lieutenant, your game does seem a little off. Is there something bothering you? Something you'd like to talk about?
Negative.
Aye, suit yourself. I just thought that these last few days might have been a bit wearing on you. Not only with your mission to the Genesis planet, but with the return of Mr. Spock. I know it'd make me feel like a real stranger, and I'd feel uneasy about trying to fit in, trying to belong.
Perhaps.
Aye, we are the Enterprise, we're a real family, all right, but we probably won't be one much longer.
Explain?
Oh, we've been through rough times before. Exploding stars, travels through time. More than once with the captain's help, we even beat death itself. But it looks like that's all over now. The Enterprise, may the poor old girl rest in peace, is gone. Lately I've thought that's an omen of some kind. We're none of us getting any younger after all.
Mr. Scott, may I point out that the universe is a constantly changing place. It is illogical to assume that all conditions are maintained unchanged and unchanging. Do you understand?
Aye. And speaking of which, how about another game?
Agreed.
Come in.
Dr. Marcus, it's time.
I think you'd better go without me, Doctor. I don't know if I can do it.
Please, Carol. I think it's best.
Maybe you're right. I just don't know anymore.
Energize.
It's still here. I haven't been here. Since we beamed down to keep the Genesis device from Khan, you'd have thought the cave would have been unstable too. Destroyed itself. But there is something about Regula I's magnetic field that maintains it. David told me he'd solved the stability problem on a planetary scale. I didn't know he'd used protomatter. Not until I read his notes. After hearing of his... I'm sorry, Doctor, for babbling on like this.
You do whatever feels right, Carol.
It's as lovely as ever. So peaceful, so...
Be it noted that the name David Marcus is born by no grave, no cold tomb. For those are places for the dead. And so long as this glade, or any who knew him, survive, he too will live. Rest easy, my son. I am very proud to be your...
Parents, Jim. We are very proud to be his parents.
Carol, I didn't think you'd come.
Oh, Jim, I'm so sorry. I was so overcome by my own grief. I had to blame somebody, and you...
It's all right, Carol.
No, I forgot how much. You must be hurting.
Not as much. Not now. There's an old saying, Carol. Happiness shared is doubled. Sorrow shared is halved.
I've heard that. And what was it you always said?
Yes, that... Let me help. Captain's log, stardate 8215.5. The Enterprise has been ordered to the Regula I space lab to obtain vital scientific data. I have waited 15 years for this chance and will let nothing stand between me and my goal. Wide-angle scan, Mr. Spock. Keep an eye out for any uninvited guests.
Understood, Captain.
Open a channel to the station, Uhura.
Aye, Captain.
This is the Enterprise calling station, Regula I. Come in, Regula I.
Receiving transmission, sir, from Dr. Carol Marcus.
On screen.
Hello, Jim. It's been a long time.
It has indeed, Carol. Do you have the data for us?
Transmitting now.
Receiving data, Mr. Spock.
Computer verification and analysis, Savick. Are the equations sound?
They are, sir.
Well, Mr. Spock?
Computer analysis and my own scrutiny prove them to be quite correct, Captain. Really a remarkable piece of work.
Congratulations, Carol. This is the first time. You haven't failed me.
I failed you? You took my son and murdered him.
Yes. Because you poisoned David's mind against me and everything I stand for. I had no choice but to kill him. And now that I have your data, Carol, I don't need you anymore. I can pay you back for David.
What do you...
Mr. Sulu, lock phasers and fire.
What, Jim? You can't. All personnel to the escape pods! To the escape!
Was that wise, Captain?
Their sympathies were suspect, Mr. Spock. And at any rate, after they had completed their research, their deaths were ordered. By the Empire. There's another dimension ripe for conquest out there, gentlemen. And after 15 years, it's mine.
Ours, Captain.
Next issue. Invasion from the Mirror Universe. Like, comment, and subscribe.